Hey, this is Dan. I'm flying solo on this one. I'm about to head down for another work road trip. I have to be in Rustburg, Virginia tomorrow morning. I've never been there before. That's a very small town, just about 10 miles or so south of Lynchburg, Virginia. So I'm going to be staying in Lynchburg tonight, and tomorrow we're going to go to Rustburg and then out to some places around the area, maybe the Appomattox battlefield, and I'm hoping to get some birding in as well. So I don't really know what to expect, but this should be a fun solo road trip. But I do plan to get there and back again, because that is the name of the blog.
Hey, I'm now all checked in at the Lynchburg La Quinta. One of my big tips for people who travel all the time, especially people who travel for business, is pick one hotel chain and stick with it, and then you can get all the points through the rewards program, and then you can use the points for things you want to use them for when you're not traveling for business. We choose La Quinta because they're one of the few big hotel chains where pets stay for free, and it doesn't matter how many pets you have and all that kind of stuff. So when we like to travel with our dogs, we like to go to La Quinta. That's one of the most convenient places, and it's usually pretty nice too. This is actually maybe the nicest La Quinta I've ever stayed in. The breakfast area is enormous. We're right across the street from Liberty University, which is a Christian university that was founded by Jerry Falwell, a controversial minister you may have heard of. Liberty University is actually the largest university by number of students in the state of Virginia. It is very well known for its Christian outlook. There's actually a rack of literature in the lobby of the La Quinta for inspirational reading, which is also a first, but it does have maybe the largest breakfast area I've ever seen in a La Quinta, so I'm going to cut them a little slack. But in any case, it's very nice, and I'm going to try and get some rest and really be ready to go in the morning. The drive down here was great. It was about a little bit under 5 hours. I stopped at Charlottesville for dinner, and the drive from Charlottesville down to here was really nice. It was curvy mountain roads, but not so curvy I couldn't go really fast. It was like being in a car commercial. So that was a nice drive, actually. And I had a great time. It'd be about 3 hours if you didn't stop, but like I said, I stopped for dinner. I don't like to sort of drive through all the way. I like to stop when I feel like it along the way. So it goes a little slower, but you get more out of it, hopefully. So once again, we'll try to get started in the morning and maybe see some cool stuff tomorrow, or at least some interesting stuff.
So, got everything done I needed to in Rustburg, which I was going to say is a one stoplight town, but actually has 2 stoplights. I stopped at both of them. Then I made it to the modern day town of Appomattox, where I stopped at a gas station where I could not for the life of me get the pump to work. And now I'm here at Appomattox Courthouse, National Historical Park, which is the site where Robert E. Lee surrendered to Ulysses S. Grant, sort of traditionally the end of the Civil War, really sort of the end of the largest part of the fighting. That was in April 1865, and today the original town of Appomattox that existed at that time has been preserved, and I'm gonna go check it out. So we're here outside the old courthouse in Appomattox, where the final battle of the Civil War took place. You can see the whole old town of Appomattox is here, along with some warblers up in the trees that I can see there. This was where General Robert E. Lee surrendered to Ulysses S. Grant to end the war in Virginia. The Confederates were retreating from Richmond, and the Union cut them off here and forced them to surrender. Over there is Wilmer McLean's house where the surrender took place. I'm going to head over there next. The Wilmer McLean House was where Generals Lee and Grant met to sign the Confederate surrender in 1865. Today the house is furnished as much as possible to look like it did that day, down to the doll on the sofa. It looks exactly the same as the painting of the surrender that is now hung in the front hallway. The accuracy of the painting is not clear. So I'm still here in Appomattox, Virginia. I don't think I'm gonna have time to go birding, but I'm super hungry and it's about lunchtime, so I'm outside the Rail Yard restaurant and we're gonna check that out. The battlefield was really interesting. I wasn't expecting the whole town to still be there basically, or the room to still be exactly the way it was. You know, so it's an interesting mix of the history and, you know, there's sort of this weird undertone of sort of the Confederacy as this noble lost cause that I can see why it's appealing. You know, it's not something that feels right now, especially after everything that's happened, you know, and so I think that's been sort of really interesting, that if you still go to these places, those things are still there. And as I was leaving, I stopped at the Confederate cemetery where some of the last Confederate Civil War dead are buried, and there's this sign that's there that hopefully we can put the picture up, was just, you know, they surrendered after 4 years in a noble cause, that they never surrendered in their hearts. You know, it was just completely over the top Confederacy lost cause type ideas. So it's really interesting to be here where sort of that all started or ended, depending on your point of view. So I'm gonna start getting some lunch and then we're gonna head on back home for the back again part of the name of the blog.